Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Pope Francis Prep Productions, where today, for Varsity Girls Lacrosse, your Pope Francis Cardinals will be playing the visiting Pittsfield Generals. I'm Don Percy, the future voice of the Cardinals. AJ's taking the day off, if necessary to give him the day off. And man, the Cardinals, well, I would say they have a familiar foe. This will be the first time they play Pittsfield in 5 years. For the fourth time meeting all together, Pope Francis has won 2 out of the 3 times these two teams have met so far, coming off of a 2-0 or 1-0 start, the Cardinals, and Pittsfield coming into this game 0-2, still looking for their first win of the season. Cardinals will look to make this things 2-0 after today, but for now, we'll send it back down the field where we'll have the starting lineup for Pittsfield and Pope Francis. Stay tuned. Next upcoming, we have the start of the game. Stay tuned. Champions play here live on Pope Prep. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are just about set for the Pope Francis Cardinals face-off versus the Pittsfield Generals. Only the fourth time meeting ever in school history between these two teams. Pope Francis coming hot off of an 8-7 win versus Hampshire, as is for the Pittsfield Generals. Their start 0-2, two losses both losses coming against Chicopee and Hoosick Valley. Hoosick Valley losing 16-4 and Chicopee Comp losing 11-7. But that's enough about the Pittsfield Generals. Let's talk about this Cardinal team. Caitlin Ondrick, the star-studded senior, scoring her 100th goal last game versus Hampshire in an 8-7 win. Sure, that won't be the last time we see her name on the score sheet today especially. She had 67 goals last season. Looking to add on to that. It's a 78-point season, more of a goal scorer than anything. Especially here, just got done with the lunar eclipse. We had, or solar eclipse, my bad, covering 93% of Western Mass. We look to get this game underway in just a minute. Cardinals being coached by Tim Allerton, looking to get the winning season Cardinals off to a hot start, looking to go 2-0. Add on to Pittsfield's 0-2 record already, with a win tonight, or today I should say, in the afternoon. Cardinals' schedule ahead looks like Belchertown tomorrow, which will bring you live coverage from here, and Hoosick Valley on Thursday, which will be covering baseball that day, I believe, as far as our schedule looks right now. And just like this, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about ready to be underway for the second game of the season for Pope Francis Girls Lacrosse. And this game is underway live on Pope Prep. It'll be Cardinals start off early, and they score early on. As it is Ava Moltenbray. She's got her second of the season, and the Cardinals score early on 1-0. Last time these two teams met was back in 2019, where the Cardinals would go ahead to win that game 13-10. The game before that, and 3 days before that, they would go on to win 15-11. The first time meeting between these two teams, Pittsfield would win by a score of 20-7. The Cardinals are looking to put this game away early on, as they just scored 14 seconds into the game. Was Ava Moltenbray. She'll look to add on to that. Cardinals take the draw. Hannah Curie. Along the side, along the 30-yard line, my bad. Lob it over to Kaylin Dickinson, who pass it back over to Kiera Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald over to Dickinson. Pass it around the back of the net for Hannah Keeney. Try to center it out in front. Shot blocked there. Pittsfield will look to come back the other way. The pass was intercepted by Pope. Looking to get in. Save made by the Pittsfield goalie. I believe that was... We got a flag blown down in play. So it'll be, I believe, Pope possession. The official blew it down in play with score 1-0 here with 10:52 left to go. Cardinals start back out with it, and they score again. It's Korea Fitzgerald, and the Cardinals double down and make it 2-0 a minute 12 into the first opening quarter. This game's looking like a runaway already. For those of you that tuned into the Minnechaug Pope game, Minnechaug ran away with that game early on, unfortunately, for the Cardinals. The boys lacrosse team still looking for their first win of the season. We do apologize now, as we are having a little technical difficulties from last stream, the camera quality issues. Those of you that were expecting a baseball game, we gave you lacrosse instead. Sure you've been happy. We'll be giving you plenty of baseball this weekend, Thursday and Friday, we hope. The boys' baseball. Softball, I believe we only have, surprisingly, one game, I believe, this season that we will be announcing. Sad to see. Pittsfield coming down the field. Over to the 30-yard line. Looking to get their first shot on net. Ball drops, shambled there for. Hannah Keeney taking it out for the Cardinals. Up to the sideline. Still has it. She'll lob the pass over to Caitlin Griffin. Griffin, the side. Still with it now. Looking around, surveying the area. She'll pass it over to Caitlin Ledrew. Ledrew. Stolen away by Pittsfield as they come back the other way, looking to cut the Cardinal lead in half. Long distance pass. Can't get there. So up the 25-yard line. We're scooped up by Ella Negron. Negron. Up over to Cameron Dickinson. Dimron. In and out, this way and that. Shot on net's just wide over the net. Looking to expand the Cardinals' lead to 3-0. With 9:36 left to go in the first quarter. Cardinals start out with it right in front of the net. Save made by Pittsfield. Oh, play blown dead here. I believe it will be Pittsfield possession as they have an offside. Pittsfield fumbles it though. It'll be scooped up by Cameron Dickinson. Dickinson still with it around the net. Looking. Pass it in front over to Caitlin Ledrew, I believe, and they score, and it makes it 3-0 Cardinals. Opening up the scoring here early on, 9:06, already a 3-0 lead for the Cardinals. Pittsfield still looking for their first shot on net, let alone. The Cardinals looking to turn this game into a runaway already. 3 goals in under 3 minutes. As we said earlier, we've been bringing you plenty of baseball. Not to disappoint the baseball fans out there that were expecting the game Thursday, as we still do deeply apologize for that. We'll blame it on the earthquake as long as we can. Today, though, we can't really blame it on the solar eclipse because we've beautiful sunny day out. Probably I would say what is the first real day in spring so far. As it is Caitlin Ondrick taking it for the Cardinals. She'll pass it over to Caitlin Griffin. Griffin will hold it, take it. She'll pass it back over. Back to Ondrick at the 25-yard line. Back over to Jordan Baylett. Baylett back over. Pope looking with it, trying to get a shot on that. Can't. Fumbled, still in front of the goal crease. So they scoop away at it. And the Cardinals will come out. No, it'll be Pittsfield taking it out. But it is Caitlin Griffin hard on ball. Play it back around that. Tried to get a pass out in front. Couldn't get right there. Caitlin Ondrick still pressuring on the ball. Stick checked out of the Pittsfield hand was Pope possession. They'll take it back now. So it'll be. What is going on? What are these numbers? Ava Maltbury. Round the side along the 10-yard line. Looking with it now, trying to make it 4-0 Cardinals. She's dancing, weaving her way in and out. She'll lob it around the back of the net. Pass back over to Hannah Keeney. Keeney. Over to Ondrick. Over to. Pope will settle it now. Possession out in front. Ondrick with it. She'll pass it over. Back over to Caitlin Griffin. Griffin still with it now. Along the 25-yard line. Looking to cut her way in. Stopped there by Pittsfield defender as she takes a tumble. And Pittsfield will take it out. Cardinals still with a commanding 3-0 lead here. As we hit the 7-minute mark in the opening quarter of play. Pittsfield taking it out now. Stick check there, and the official blows it dead, and Pittsfield will continue to take it out. Didn't like what he saw there. Pass couldn't get picked up. And it'll be Hannah Keeney, hard on it, pressuring. Thought she got a stick check there. It's hooked. Passes it back over to Ava Maltbury. Maltbury over to Keeney. Keeney. Back over to Caitlin Griffin. She'll take it now. And we have a timeout, I believe, taken by the Pittsfield Generals. 3-0 the score here for the Pope Francis Cardinals. Stay tuned. Champions play here live on Pope Prep. Cardinals still with a 3-0 lead here. 6:22 remaining in the first quarter. Looking to take the all-time series lead in this. Taking a 3-1 lead in this, as they do right now. 3-0 the score. Pope started out with it. Caitlin Ondrick playing a game of catch with Kiera Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald with it now. Along the 25-yard line, looking to rip a shot off. She'll pass it back over to Ondrick, excuse me. Ondrick looking over to Baylett. Baylett has a man open. She'll still hold on to it. She'll pass it over to Kiera Fitzgerald. Pope still looking to keep this game out of reach, make it a 4-0 lead. So it'll be Ava Maltberry taking it over to Ondrick. Ondrick looking to add on to the 67 goal season she had last year. Actually, the 100 career goals she's had in her young Pope Francis career. Shot, she scores! Make it 101, and Caitlin Ondrick, with her first goal of the game, extends the Cardinals' lead to 4-0, 5:28 left in the first quarter. And this game's looking like a runaway early on, as the Pope Francis Cardinals take an early lead of 4-0, nearly halfway through the first quarter of play. Face-off coming in here. It'll be Caitlin Ondrick taking it against Pittsfield. Ball's in play. Ondrick trying to scoop it over to Hannah Keeney. Keeney with it now. Along the 30-yard line, looking at who she has open. She'll pass off to Kiera Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald looking. She'll pass it back over to Jordan Baylett. Baylett over to Ondrick, looking to double down on the goal she has tonight. Make it 5-0 Cardinals. Get her second goal of the game. Pass it back over to not Caitlin Ondrick, Cameron Dickinson. Around the back of the net. Back over to Hannah Keeney. Over to Ava Maltberry. Trying to center it out in front. Shot couldn't get through. Pittsfield will take it back the other way, trying to really get their first shot on net for what it seems like it's been all Pope Francis the first quarter, half a quarter of this game right now, with a 4-0 commanding lead halfway through the first quarter of play. Ondrick will scoop it up back, taking it away from Pittsfield. Ondrick trying to find Kiera Fitzgerald up the line, but pass is scooped out. Fitzgerald picking off the pass from Pittsfield. She'll go in, looking around. Shot just off the post. Cardinals look to get a rebound. So it'll be Ava Maltberry picking it up. She'll pass it back over to Jordan Baylett. Baylett over to Ondrick. Mishandled it, fumbled it there. Pittsfield player's hot on. And the official calls, I believe, offside, as the Pope players are really confused with the call. Still 4-0. Under 4 minutes left to play in this first quarter. Ondrick will start out with it for Pope. Looking around, pressured on hard. She'll pass it back over to Jordan Baylett. Baylett looking around. She's got Ondrick open. Along the 40-yard line, back over to Ondrick. Still looking for her second goal of the game. Make it 102. Career all-time goals. She'll pass it back over to Jordan Baylett. That's really the first sunny day we've had here in spring. The past week, it's really been just rain, snow. Haven't really had a true spring day, one might say, in spring thus far in 2024. We'll be sure to bring you plenty of baseball, boys lacrosse. We have boys lacrosse maybe next week. Actually, no, my bad. Boys lacrosse has a away game versus Agawam on Wednesday of next week. April vacation coming up for these Cardinals. A long-awaited rest for the student athletes and certainly the students here at Pope Francis Prep. As we have a play blown dead here. There's a possession by Jordan Baylett. And I believe she will receive a yellow card? Yellow card? Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, just a little scoreboard issue there. A little technical difficulties inside the box here at Pope Prep. Girls lacrosse with another back-to-back day games. Today versus Pittsfield, tomorrow versus Belchertown. We'll be bringing you live coverage. Be Don Percy up here in the box. AJ's got a tennis match, I believe. Wishing him the best of luck in that. And the rest of the week we'll be bringing you boys baseball as far as the weather cooperates. I believe that's 4:30 on Thursday and a 4 o'clock game on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Pittsfield still looking for some offensive pressure here. They have yet to get a shot. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. They have yet to get a shot even on net, let alone a goal. We'll start out with it now. Pope playing a good defensive pressure here. Still with the early 4-0 lead, under a minute to play in the first quarter. Pittsfield start out with it now. Looking at their opening goal of the game. In and out. Picked off as it is picked off by Caitlin Ledoux. I believe we have a infraction here by the official. The time will stop at 39.9. Pittsfield will start out with it now behind the Cardinal net. They look to make it 4-1, closing out this first quarter. They're in on net. Sticked out of the hands by Kiera Fitzgerald. Good defensive pressure by these Cardinals. Fitzgerald with it now, starting out along the 20-yard line of her defensive zone. She'll pass it back up over to Ava Moltberry. Moltberry with it now, looking to make it 5-0 before the quarter ends. Over to Andrick. Andrick got to get a shot off. It just bounced high and wide over the net. And with this, it'll look like time will expire with the ending of the fourth quarter. Pope Francis will take a 4-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. Cardinals lead 4-0. Pittsfield has yet to get their first shot on net. Andrick netting her 101st goal of her Pope Francis career. It might be 102nd. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. But with that, we will head to a break, and coming up next, it's the second quarter of play for girls varsity lacrosse live on Pope Prep. Stay tuned, champions play here. Second quarter just about to get underway here. Pope with a commanding 4-0 lead here, as it'll be Ondrick taking the face-off for the Cardinals. They're looking to turn this game into a runaway by the end of the second quarter, maybe double it and make it 8-0. Put this game out of reach for Pope Francis. Ondrick batted it out, and I believe we have a face-off violation, as it'll be heading the way of Pittsfield, who, I might say this time and time again, still have yet to get, not let alone the first shot on net, a little offensive zone pressure for Pittsfield. I'll come back down the other way along the 20-yard line. In and out. Trying to lob it over, and they do. They score. Pittsfield makes it 4-1. And for the Generals, it is number 4, Shea Kozlowski, the freshman, getting it started for Pittsfield. So they make it 4-1 Cardinals with 11:33 still remaining in the second quarter. Lots of things can happen. 11:33. We've seen 8-7 goals. Leads erased on this field, as AJ said before. The boys lacrosse games. Boys lacrosse still looking to come back. Not the best start they've had to the season so far. Certainly an 0-4. As Pittsfield will start out with the ball again. Or my mistake, 0-3. Pittsfield with it now. It'll be for Pittsfield. Still with it now. Pope's still looking to get the defensive zone pressure on. It'll be Kira Fitzgerald taking out for the Cardinals. Pressured on hard there. Turning on the Jets, going up the sideline. She looks to get her second goal today. Extend the lead to 5-1 for the Cardinals. She'll take it back around the net. She'll pass it back over to Hannah Keeney. Keeney over to Jordan Baylett. She'll lob it back out over to Ava Maltberry. Over to Ondrick. Well, pass miscommunication there, trying to get a shot off for Pope. We scooped up, or I should say scoop back up by Ava Maltberry. Ball it back over to Ondrick. She'll pass it back over to Jordan Baylett. Over to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald looking around. She'll lob it in for Caitlin Griffin. Griffin back over to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald looking around, back over to Ondrick. Cardinals just playing a game with catch and toss at this point, with under 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. But yeah, as we said earlier, this is what's been really the first real day in spring, I would say. The solar eclipse coming out. Next one not happening until 2044. I'll be long gone by then. Actually, probably the next couple of Voice of the Cardinals will be long gone by then. Next solar eclipse. Yeah. Never know. Time flies by here on Pope Prep. As we have a play blown dead here. I believe it will be Pittsfield possession starting out with it. They look to cut Pope's lead in half. Still down 4-1 with 9:13 remaining in the second quarter. Pope got a shot on net, but it's save. It's a save made by Zitter, the junior goalie for the Generals. My bad, it's Hannah Kickery for the Pittsfield Generals, and we have a player down for Pittsfield. She'll get back up. Pope Francis starts out with it back the other way. Jordan Baylett inside and out with it. Thought she had it, lost it, picks it back up. She'll pass it back over to Ava Maltberry. Maltberry looking around over to Ondrick. Ondrick and Maltberry playing a game of catch here on the 20-yard line. Maltberry in. Over to Ondrick. Her shot down. Pittsfield will come out with it. The goaltender didn't know where it was. Still looking around for it. We scoop back up by Cameron Dickinson, and we have stoppage of play here. Going the way of Pittsfield. I believe it was offsides. So Pittsfield will start out with it with 8:13 remaining in this second quarter. Pope Francis still with a 4-1 lead. Thought it was a commanding lead. Ball stick checked out of the Pittsfield player's hand by Cameron Dickinson. She's furiously signaling to the ref that she thought she was going to get a call for a push more. So nonetheless, Pittsfield will restart with it back out again. Lob pass, couldn't find anyone as it will be picked back up by Caitlin Griffin. Griffin back over to Ava Mulberry. Cardinals still looking to make it 5-1. Nearly halfway through this second quarter. So Andrick back over to Ava Mulberry. Mulberry pass it over to Jordan Bailey, trying to sneak her way through the Pittsfield defense. Ava Mulberry, she'll pass it over to Andrick. It's top line going to work here for the Pope Francis Cardinals. So pass Fitzgerald with it now, trying to get a shot on net or in close deeper, and they score, making it 5-1. Cameron Dickinson with her second goal of the game. 7:08 left in the second quarter, and Pope will recommand a 4-goal lead over the visiting Pittsfield Generals. As we said earlier, looking to take a 3-1 lead. Hard to believe that these teams have only, in Pope's 9-year, the Pope Francis Preparatory High School, their 9-year, I would say, existence-long era. It's hard to believe that these two teams have only met 3 times coming up to this game. So this will be their 4th game meeting all time. Pope leads the all-time series by 2-1. The first game Pittsfield won was the first game these two teams ever squared off against. Which was the final score of that game was 20-7. But other than that, these two teams have not met in 5 years. Hard to believe. Pope Francis starting off with the face-off. It'll be Andrick taking out back, looking to pass it over to Jordan Bailey. But it'll be Andrick taking it back out along the 20-yard line. And I believe we have a play blown dead as we have a safety check. We Andrick back starting with it. Back in play. Over to Bailey. Bailey over to Andrick, trying to get a shot off on net. Save made by the Pittsfield goalie. That'll be Hannah Kickery. A couple of stops she's made tonight. Not been able to stop the Pope Francis offense. Hannah Kickery thought she had it, passed it. It was almost put in her own net, really. She'll pass it looking for a Pittsfield defender, but she'll only find Kira Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald looking with it now. Back over inside. Over to Maylee Chaplin, and she scores her first goal as a Pope Francis Cardinal. And the Cardinals extend their lead to 6-1, a 5-goal gap, trying to put this game out of the way early for the Pittsfield Generals, with 6:14 remaining in the second quarter of this game, I should say. And yeah, what the weeks ahead are looking like. We got 3 games this weekend that we'll be covering. It'll be girls lacrosse versus Belchertown tomorrow. Boys baseball. Our aim will be for the baseball fans out there to give you boys baseball on Thursday, I believe, at 4:30. And boys baseball on Friday. We are still unsure, I should say, if we will be live streaming the boys varsity lacrosse game on Saturday. If we are not, then it'll be a live streamless April vacation, as all the teams have away matches over the spring break. Nope. The boys varsity lacrosse taking on Agawam, I believe, Wednesday at 5. A couple of tennis matches. I'm sure AJ will be thrilled. All the tennis matches really been getting canceled due to the rain factor here. A first day off for AJ. New voice in the box for the Cardinals. Future voice of the Cardinals, I should say. For next year, as Kira Fitzgerald take it for the Cardinals. Trying to lob one in on net as a save by Kickery for the Pittsfield Generals. Generals will start out with it now. They had it, lost it, and it'll be regrouped by Hannah Keeney. Keeney had it, lost it, trying to rip a shot off low. And with 5 minutes left, it'll be Pope will regain possession. Keeney will start back out with it for the Cardinals. Looking to extend onto the 6-1 lead, make it 7-1, really put this game out of reach. Penalty shot in, they score! Making it 7-1, it is Hannah Keeney with her second goal of the game. 4:42 left in this second quarter. The Cardinals are starting to run away with it as a 7-1 commanding lead over the Generals. Hard to believe the last time that these two teams played, Pope won by a score of only 13-10 and 15-11. Only a 4-goal gap, whereas right now it is really a runaway game, like a 6-goal differential. Pope had this is the furthest gap we've seen in a game so far. Pope had a little closer game versus a Hamden, the first home game of the season. For the Cardinals, they won that by a score of 8-7. As it was in that game, Andrick, the star senior, would score her 100th goal of her young Pope Francis career. The Cardinals start back out with it as we Kira Fitzgerald. And I believe the goal may have gotten called off, if I'm not mistaken. They have yet to put it on the scoreboard. Shows 6-1 Cardinals with 4:05 left remaining in the second quarter. Well, we'll get a check on that. I believe it was 7-1 as Kira Fitzgerald's shot rips off the high crossbar. So Pope will start back out with it. It'll be Cameron Dickinson behind the Pope net. She'll pass over to Caitlin Griffin. Griffin around the back of the net. Cardinals still with a hot streak of goals. There's 3 consecutive ones. One that got called off. So it's nonetheless a 5-goal gap as the play's blown dead here by the official. He doesn't like what he sees, and he'll whistle for Andrick. Take her place at the 15-yard line. We had an infraction rather than that. Andrick will look to double down, may get her second goal of the game, extend the Cardinals' lead to 7-1. Rips it, save made by Hickory for the Pittsfield Generals. A couple of big-time stops for Hannah Hickory nonetheless, despite the score of 6-1 in the second quarter. But Pope really right now has been playing lockdown defense and really a great attack, I should say. It's been all Cardinals, not only the first and the second quarter. Kira Fitzgerald starting with it now. Along the 20-yard line, this way and that. Shot by Hannah Keeney, and she scores, making it her hat-trick goal of the game. Or actually, no, her second goal of the game as the previous goal was called off. The Cardinals will now extend their lead once again to a 6-goal gap. Make it 7-1 with 2:30 remaining in the second quarter of this play. Face-off coming in here for the Cardinals. It'll be Andrick taking it. Looking to send on to her 102, I believe, all-time goals. As we said earlier, it'll be girls lacrosse tomorrow versus Belchertown. And it'll be boys baseball Thursday. I believe Caitlin Andrick was just called off sides, but she could have had her 103rd goal of the season. Or her hat-trick goal tonight. Wednesday, we will not be live streaming. There are no home games for the boys. Another boys tennis game for AJ. Wishing him the best of luck in that game. Andrick will start back out with it. We're going to start back out. Low shot ripped wide of the net. Getting back to the future schedule for the Pope Francis Cardinals. We'll have baseball versus Minnechaug, 4:30 Thursday. And it'll be Friday. We will have baseball versus St. Paul's on at 4 p.m. here at Pope Francis Prep. Looking to bring you live coverage with that. Saturday, still unsure if we will have a game or not. Boys lacrosse versus Mount Anthony's. And another not familiar foe, I should say. Mount Anthony all the way from Vermont. Pope will be taking a home-and-home trip later on in the season as Mount Anthony will visit the Cardinals here. Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Shot there by Hannah Keeney. Easy save made by the Pittsfield goaltender with just about a minute to play left here in the game. Cardinals turning it into a runaway, really. with score 7-1 here. Start out with it. Offsides called by the official. I believe time will pause here with 52.1 seconds remaining in the second quarter, excuse me. The Cardinals will start back out with it. It's Ellen Negron fumbled it. Around the back of the net, Pittsfield take it back. Still pressuring on as it is Cameron Dickinson. Pittsfield trying to lob a pass out of the defensive zone for them. Can't get it. Ball will be taken back by Pope with just under 30 seconds left to play. Negron along the sides. We have an infraction here called by Pittsfield. They'll still go with it. Negron looking to drive towards there. Tried to find Caitlin Griffin, but pass was just a little overhead. Pittsfield will look to regroup, but no, it's stolen by Hannah Keeney. Still looking for her hat-trick goal tonight. Back to Caitlin Ondrick, also looking for her hat-trick goal tonight. And just as that, time will expire nonetheless. The end of the second quarter, the Pope Francis Cardinals have a commanding 7-1 lead over the Pittsfield Generals. Coming up, we got the halftime report here at Pope Prep. Stay tuned. Champions play here. Give you the halftime report live on Pope Prep. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Pope Francis Cardinals still with a commanding 7-1 lead over the Pittsfield Generals, as I mentioned before. The fourth time ever meeting between these two teams. And man, oh man, Pope Francis has really turned this game into a runaway. It was 4-0 at the end of the first quarter. Pittsfield got their first goal less than a minute into the beginning of the second quarter. But other than that, it's been all Pope pressure here, all attack on as far as the rest of the second quarter goes. A 6-goal differential here, as we said before. Pope looking to extend the overall series lead to 3-1 versus the Pittsfield Generals. Pope really playing, we won't say lockdown defense against these Pittsfield Generals, as they've really not come to play, not come to life, anything like that. As I believe they've only registered 3 shots on goal, if that. Meanwhile, Pope just absolutely peppering, I believe, just Hannah Kickery for the Pittsfield Generals, and they have goals to show as they have a 7-1 lead, 6-goal differential. Coming up next, we'll have the third quarter of play as Pope will look to hold on to their lead and make the overall series lead 3-1 versus all-time versus the Pittsfield Generals, extend certainly their overall record to 2-0. Make Pittsfield's record 0-3. But coming up next, we got the third quarter of action here on Pope Prep. Stay tuned. Champions play here, live on Pope Prep. Third quarter of play just about to get underway here, with Cardinals still with a commanding 7-1 lead, a 6-goal differential. I'll say it time and time again. They'll turn this game into a runaway eventually. The last time these two teams met, the score, I believe, was 13-10, if I'm not mistaken. Cardinals won by a score of 13-10 with a 3-goal differential. Then it was 15-11, a 4-goal differential. So nonetheless, this is the biggest goal differential the Cardinals have had on their side by far. Pittsfield won by a score of 20-7 the first time these two teams ever faced off. We have face-off coming in here for Caitlin Ondrick, looking to add on to the 2-goal night she's had so far. And down on the play already, we leave a slash called. The officials not seeming to notice. Pittsfield will start out with it already, looking to add on to make their second goal of the night. But as we said before in the weeks ahead, it'll be a April break list live stream. No live streams coming to you. No home games for Pope Prep. All the home games this weekend will end more than likely with boys baseball versus, I believe it is versus St. Paul's at 4 o'clock on Friday. Still unsure about the boys lacrosse game versus Mount Anthony at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Well, up and ready, get the coffee going for me, Lucas, and for Lucas nonetheless. Lucas and Caleb in the press box. Don't tell him that one. Don't. Ball sent out of play here by Pittsfield as the Cardinals will regroup with it, as it'll be Kira Fitzgerald scrambling for it on the 20-yard line. Pope will start back out with it. It's like Caitlin Griffin looking in on net. Hands. Ava Maltberry. Pass it back off. Over to Jordan Baylett. Over to Ondrick. Ondrick back over to Kiera Fitzgerald. Looking for her second goal tonight. Ondrick looking for her hat-trick goal tonight. Has 2 already. 102 or 103, I believe. My mistake. Jordan Baylett for the Cardinals. Add-on making an 8-1 lead. Ondrick. Back over to Jordan Baylett. Baylett hot in on a goal. Stops. Trying to dangle around defenders. Trying to look back in on Ondrick, and plays blown dead here. Still going the way of Pope. I believe it'll be Ondrick taking the starting off with the ball. She'll look to get a shot on that, making her hat-trick goal of the season. Hat-trick goal of the game, excuse me. 104th goal of the season. Her shot on it, just low, and she scores. The hat-trick goal for Caitlin Ondrick makes it 8-1 Pope Francis with 9:37 left in the third quarter. Her 104th career goal in her senior year. Looking to add on to the 78-point season she had last year for the Cardinals. And it is now a 7-goal gap between the Pittsfield Generals and the Pope Francis Cardinals. Again, if the score holds, or even the score gets any larger, I should say, Pope Francis will make this the biggest goal differential they've had versus Pittsfield in their, really, I would say their short ever seasonal match. Last time these two teams met was May 6th of 2019. Following that, before the game, was May 3rd of 2019. And the first time these two teams ever faced off was 3 years after the really creation of the Pope Francis. It was 2018 on May 21st, where Pittsfield would win that by a score of 20-7. Then the next two games would be all Cardinals. I believe these two teams were actually scheduled to have a game pre-COVID, as there was another shot on net and a goal by Kiera Fitzgerald for her second of the game, making it 9-1 Pope Francis with 9:01 left in the third quarter. Still plenty of time left in here in the game. Pope just making this gap bigger and bigger with 9:01 left in the third quarter. It's true definition of a runaway at this point. As we said, Pittsfield has not had a winning season record in the past. I believe it is 4 years. Hard to believe that. However, it is Pope Francis coming off of a coming off an 8-10 winning season. Fortunately, they would fall in the Division 3 round of 32 to Foxborough, 1-0, close game there. And they would fall in the Western Mass final round to Mount Greylock, 19-2. So this year they look to make it their year, become best in the West for the Cardinals. We're going to talk about best in the West. You had the basketball team beating Central twice, 2 years in a row. Next year they'll look to make it 3, I believe. Shane Boys Hockey lost by a score of 4-2 to Arlington Catholic. We were looking for them to go so far in this MIAA Division 1. Going to make it back-to-back Division 1 state champions. Back out for the Cardinals. Andrick looking for it. She won. It's the 4th goal of the game. We're going to make it 105, in fact, on the all-time for her. Jordan Baylett starting out for it. She'll lob it back over. To excuse me. Lob back over to Ava Moultberry. Moultberry over to Kiera Fitzgerald. Back over to Jordan Baylett. Baylett back over to Andrick. Toying with it around the 25-yard line with 8:02 remaining in this third quarter of play. Try to get an inside shot back over to Caitlin Griffin. Griffin slapping at it there. Refer to it as the lumberjack move. The slashing away. The boys' miniature game. Cardinals start back out with it. So it'll be Jordan Baylett taking her time with it. She'll pass it back over to Maylee Champlain, who thought her had her first goal of her Cardinal career. It was called off due to offsides. Jordan Baylett trying to streak her way in. Stopped there by Pittsfield defenders. As it was Andrick trying to pass it through Pittsfield. The pass picked off. So picked up by Ava Moultberry, who leaves it back off for Jordan Baylett. Baylett trying to lob a pass in for Caitlin Andrick. Picked up by Kiera Fitzgerald. Whacking away out on the ground. It'll be Faye DeStefano, around the back of the net. She'll pass it back over to Jordan Baylett. And on goal, and she scores. The hat-trick goal for Jordan Baylett, and the score is now 10-1 in favor of the Cardinals with 6:44 remaining in the third quarter, nearly halfway through this third quarter of play. Pittsfield right now just looking for a break in defensive zones. They've had no offensive pressure. They had the one goal, as we said before. That was really the only offensive pressure, and I'll say it again, time and time again, only 3 registered shots, I believe, on goal for Pittsfield. This Cardinals will extend it to 10-1. But as we said before, the week ahead will be a baseball filled. The baseball fans out there getting excited. Friday and Thursday games. Then April break, a long-awaited break. We will actually there's no home games here at Pope Prep. Baseball, lacrosse, believe it or not, there is no home games. Only got a couple of away games, actually, we do believe. It'll be baseball at Chicopee, 4 p.m. on Monday. Girls tennis will play Long Meadow at Tuesday the 16th. Boys lacrosse will play Agawam Wednesday the 17th, and baseball will play St. John's Shrewsbury. So will JVB baseball. So I'm looking at the schedule right now. Boys lacrosse will play West Springfield Friday the 19th. We're going to turn their season around. Not the best start they've had to the season, certainly, so far. An 0-3 start. Minichog, we said before, they're starting off 2-0. Mid-regional Falcons would win that score by a score of 12-4. Andrick will start back out with it for the Cardinals. Back over to Champlain. Still looking for her first goal as a Cardinal. Back in over to Caitlin Griffin, and she scores her second goal of the game. And the Cardinals now lead by a touchdown and a field goal. 10 goals is the goal differential with under halfway to play in this third quarter. And the Cardinals make it 11-1. Hard to believe it was only 4-0 after the first quarter, as the Cardinals really have just opened up the scoring here in this third quarter to play. We said before it was 7-1 to come the halftime report. Now they've opened the scoring scored 4 more goals in 6 minutes. Still look to add on to that. Make it even more, perhaps. Face-off coming in here for Andrik. Taking the Pope face-offs. Pittsfield will just look for some type of offensive pressure. This really feels like Pittsfield has played the whole game on defense, really. I will say. Pope has played the game entirely on offense, nonetheless. Face-off coming in here for Andrik. Ball up in the air. Scooped back up by Kiera Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald will come back with it over the 50-yard line, taking her time, pass it over to Andrik, looking for her 4th goal of the game. Already has the hat-trick goal. She'll pass it back over to Ava Mulberry. Mulberry over to Negron. Ella Negron. Negron. Back over to Andrik. Fires a shot wide over net. Pope will regroup with it now, as it'll be Caitlin Griffin behind the Pittsfield net, the Generals net. Generals this way in that, in on net, trying to get a shot off save made by Pittsfield. The fourth recorded shot now. On net, breath for Pittsfield as they look to toss it back up the field. Pittsfield now with it just over the 50-yard line. The first offensive zone pressure that they've had certainly thus far in the third quarter, with just under 4 minutes to play. Pope's done their part so far, playing lockdown defense. Only 1 goal against the show, which is what they want in this game. Keeping the goal differential down, keeping the gap wide open. A 10-goal gap. As it'll be Ella Negron taking it up the length of the field, trying to pass it off to Maylee Champlain. This way and that with it. Deking around the defenders. She'll pass it back over to Cameron Dickinson. Back over to Ava Mulberry. Mulberry over to Andrik. Along the 25-yard line for the Cardinals. Make it 12-1. Extend their lead even more, maybe. She'll take her time with it. As they're in no rush. Winning by a 10-goal differential in the third quarter with just now 3 minutes left to play. Pope with it. Pope had it now. Lost it. Andrik will scoop it back up. Inside over to Hannah Curie, and it is her hat-trick goal of the game as Pope extends their lead to 12-1 with 2:40 remaining in the third quarter. As we said earlier before, this game really has just turned into a runaway. With an 11-goal differential, the biggest that has been seen by these two teams, nonetheless, by far, especially the Cardinals at least. Nonetheless, the 13-goal differential for Pittsfield, winning by a score of 20-7, the first time these two teams ever squared off. But in the weeks ahead, after April break comes, we will be giving you baseball again. To have to make up for the games we promised for the baseball fans, the baseball community out there. On Thursday, we were all set and ready for a baseball game. Turns out the Wi-Fi wouldn't work. We tried our hardest. Decided to come inside here and do the boys lacrosse game, which actually did turn out better. Fortunately, though, all we could give you guys was really a radio show style broadcast. The Wi-Fi was still down. Well, what a way to have my first game as the next Pope Francis voiced the Cardinals, to say the least. Shot and a goal by Ella Negron. And Pope Francis takes a 13-1 lead, making it a 12-goal differential now. They could tie Pittsfield's 13-goal differential the first time these two teams met, with Pope winning by a 20-7 score. It's all Pope Francis right now in this one game. Pittsfield had the spark of energy, really, the 1 goal they scored. It was early on, the first minute of play in the second quarter, and just right now we have under a minute to play left in this third quarter. Pope with a very wide gap for a lead. It'll be Caitlin Griffin switching it up for the Cardinals, giving Andrik the break. So she'll play attack for the Cardinals. Griffin taking the face-off, first time this afternoon. the 50-yard line. Pittsfield has still, I would say, still yet to win a face-off, in fact, let alone they have 4 registered shots on goal. As plays blown dead here with just about 20 seconds left. Pope looking to just run the clock out, left in this third quarter. Face-off back by Caitlin Griffin. As she'll start out with it now. 10 seconds left to play. Pope trying to get an early shot off quick. Can extend it to more to 14-1. As it does not look like they will. And the Pope Francis Cardinals will take, I've said it time and time again, a commanding lead, but really this is looking like a runaway. A 13-1 lead into the fourth quarter. As coming up next, we'll give you the fourth quarter of play. 2-minute break in between quarters. Stay tuned. Champions play here live on Pope Prep Productions. Fourth quarter of play just about to get underway here with Cardinals with a 13-1 lead. It's really a runaway here now. As it'll be, excuse me. As it'll be Caitlin Griffin taking the face-off. She wins it. Pittsfield still has yet to win really a face-off in this entire game, really. The Cardinals will start back out with it. As it'll be Ella Negron looking to add on to make her second goal of the game. Trying a low shot, and she does. She scores, making her second goal of the game. And 23 seconds in, Pope Francis scores, makes it 15-1. As right now, they have just tied the biggest gap between the all-time between Pittsfield and Pope. The first time these two teams, I would say again, 27 score, 13 goal differential in favor of Pittsfield. As they'll extend their lead. Looking to make it more. Looking to make it more in this fourth quarter. Caitlin Griffin taking the face off. Trying to get it back over to Ella Negron. Pittsfield taking it back. Still trying to find it. Stick checked out of her hands. As it was, as it was Katie Ledoux. Stick checking out of the Pittsfield hands. Pittsfield will take it back the other way, looking to get their second goal of the game. The little attacking zone pressure that Pittsfield has had nonetheless so far. As it'll be Brittany Chateau taking it for the Pittsfield Generals, trying to get a shot on it, and they do. They score, but no, it'll be called off, and Pittsfield will start back out with it with a shot at the 15-yard line. Or no, they did. No, excuse me. We thought the goal was called off here in the score box, but no, they do score, making it 14-2. As it'll be Kylie Starja scoring for the Pittsfield Generals. Their second goal of the game. The score is now 14-2 with just under 10 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. A very sunny day nonetheless. Really, as I'll say again, the first real day in spring that we've had so far. It was snowing last week. Hard to believe you could see snow here. Just looked like an average day in December. Cardinals take it back now, and they score again. As it is Ava Moltberry with her hat-trick goal of the game. And just like that, the Cardinals have reclaimed a 13-goal lead, nonetheless, over the Pittsfield Generals. Only 30 seconds after the Generals scored their second goal of the game. But yeah, going back to the first real day in spring that we've had here. It was raining all last week. I remember I had to do a track meet out in the cold. Had to run the 800. That was not fun nonetheless. Freezing cold. And it was 800 for the folks of you at home that don't know. 800 2 laps around. Freezing cold outside. One of the last events, in fact, for track and field. Freezing cold. I was bundled up all under the tent with the track team, cheering on the rest of us. There's Sam Graham in the 100-meter qualifying for states, as well as Madison, student government president, qualifying for states. The first track meet of the season, nonetheless. Fortunately, we would fall to Westfield, 91-37. A little bit of like the scores now. A little bit of a deficit, a 15-2 score, blowout win, nonetheless. One would say. So Pittsfield will come back the other way. It'll be Brittany Chateau. Chateau with it now along the far side of the field. Taking her time. Cardinals not worried, putting on pressures. They still have the 13-goal lead. Trying to get pressure. Brittany Chateau pressured on by Kiera Fitzgerald, looking to intercept the pass. Trying to get all the players out from in front of the net. Chateau still with it. Now for Pittsfield. Long back of the net behind the 10-yard line. 7:30 remaining in this game. Fourth quarter. Chateau looking to drive to the net. Her shot, and she scores. As it is her second goal of the game. And Pope still with a commanding lead, a 15-3 lead. With just under 7:20 left to play in this fourth quarter play. Pittsfield to get new players onto the field. It's 15. Yeah. As I believe on the field right now, we have a timeout taken by the Pope Francis Cardinals. So we will step aside here with 17-11 remaining in the fourth quarter. Pope Francis still with a 15-3 lead over the Generals. Stay tuned. Champions play here live on Pope Prep. timeout just done here for the Pope Francis Cardinals as they have a 15-3 lead. 7-11 remaining here in the fourth quarter. He's probably watching at home. He definitely is. Oh, thanks. Kiera Fitzgerald scrambling for the ball here for the Cardinals. There's a whistle here, as it'll be Pittsfield taking it back the way of the Cardinals. Another whistle here, as I believe Pittsfield will regain possession. So it'll be Ava Palmer taking it for the Generals, down into the Pope zone, around the 20-yard line, as it is batted down, stick checked out of her hands by Jordan Baylett. And the whistle blown here, plays blown dead. Pittsfield will start out with it. Look to get a shot to make it 4 goals of the night for the Generals. Ava Palmer taking the shot, looking in, trying to lob a pass in. She tried to find Katie Aragon. Couldn't find her there. So it was picked off by Pope. And we have play blown dead here, as I believe the refs will signal a push with just under 6:10 left to play in the fourth quarter of play. The rate we're going at, if the score holds, which it more than likely will, don't want to jinx anything, Pope will go to 2-0 on the season. Pittsfield will go to 0-3. In the all-time meeting, Pope Francis will take the all-time series lead 3-1. The first time Pittsfield ever beat this Cardinal team was back in 2018. Hard to believe that these two teams, the last time they met was 4 years ago, almost to the day. Just about a month separating the 2 days. So really 4 years and 11 months, one would say. It'll be Kiera Fitzgerald along the side yard line. She'll pass it back up to Thay DeFano. In along the 20-yard line. She's looking around. She's got Ella Negron along the side. Negron. Try to look for a pass over to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald signaling to go to the net. Fitzgerald with it right in front of the net. Shot, she scores. It is her 3rd goal of the game. And Pope Francis will take a 16-3 lead with 4:50 remaining in the fourth quarter, as they regain a 13-goal advantage over the Generals. It has been just all Pope Francis here. Nonetheless, I would say first, second quarter, it's been Pope Francis the entire game, really. Generals have had a couple shots on net. That's led to their 3 goals that they've had so far, nonetheless, this game. With 4:21 left to go. Face-off coming in here. Caitlin Griffin taking it for the Cardinals. And it'll be Hannah Kickery taking it for the Generals. Caitlin Griffin had it, lost it. Pittsfield will regroup with it. It's picked off by Caitlin Griffin. Griffin with it now. Looking upfield. Turning this way and that way. The Jukes. Still with it now. Going this way and this way. That way. Ankle breaking her way around the 20-yard line. Still with it now. She'll lob a pass back over to Sophie DeSchiller. The pass is picked off now. It'll be Pittsfield coming up the way with speed. Pittsfield, Malin Rawling up the field, trying to give a pass back off over to Ava Palmer. Palmer with it now, going in on net, trying to make it Pittsfield's 4th goal of the game. Indirect pass on it, save made by Zoe Shepard. Shepard coming up big for these Cardinals. Only 3 goals against so far in this game, with just about 3 minutes left to play in the final quarter of play for the girls varsity lacrosse. Kaylin Ondrick, the 4-goal night she's had, I believe. Or 3-goal night she's had so far. 104 on the all-time goals for a lady Cardinal. Not now! What's the right word? I'm sorry. Pittsfield coming back the other way. Brittany Chateau for Pittsfield. Had it, lost it, and pressured on by Ella Negron. Looking to get Ella Negron with it now. Already 1 goal on the night for her. She'll pass it back. Pass it back over to Laura Martins. Martins with it now. Her shot on goal. It'll be sent wide. And Pope Francis will regroup with it. Back behind the Pittsfield net. With 2:10 left to play in this fourth quarter. Pope with a 16-3 lead. Looking like they'll take a 3-1 lead on the all-time meeting between these two teams. They'll take a 3-1 series lead, I say. Pittsfield will start out with it behind the net. Pass is picked off. Is checked off by Kira Fitzgerald. Pittsfield will restart with it, though, back in their own end. Pittsfield trying to get it out of their own zone, but it's pressured on by the Cardinals. Nonetheless, Pittsfield will come back the other way as it is Madeline Rawlings coming up the way for Pittsfield over to Palmer. Palmer with it now along the 10-yard line. Looking to make it Pittsfield's fourth goal of the game. Down 16-3 with just about over a minute to play. Trying to get a shot off, but is blocked by Cameron Dickinson. Or excuse me, Ava Maltberry. My bad. Still learn names early on. Palmer will cycle it back over to Brittany Chateau. Chateau behind the net. Trying to lob a pass out in front, but it's picked off by the Cardinals with just under a minute to play. Cardinals with a 16-3 lead, just about under a minute to play in this game so far. Laura Martins with for the Cardinals, taking her time with it. She'll pass it back over to Sophia Lynchwa. Lynchwa in on net. Trying to get a shot off, but it couldn't go. To be Kira Fitzgerald, picking it back up with 13.9 remaining in the fourth quarter. Jordan Bailey for the Cardinals, scooping it back up. She'll lob it over to Kira Fitzgerald. Just under 20 seconds left to play here. The fourth quarter, Cardinals will win by a score. Would more than likely will be 16-3 unless they can rip a shot in on net. Make it 17-3. Fitzgerald. Back over to Sophia Lynchwell. Shot high over that. And just like that, time expires. As the Pope Francis Cardinals will take this game by a score of 16-3. What a game for these Cardinals, as it was Zoe Shepard coming up big in net. 3 goals against on, I believe was maybe 4 or 5 shot attempts, or 6, I believe. But nonetheless, the Cardinals will win by a score of 16-3. Coming up next, we have the Cardinal post game in about 2 minutes. Stay tuned. Champions play here live on Pope Prep Productions. Cardinals take this game by a score of 16-3, I believe. It was Caitlin Ondrick netting a 3-goal game, 104 on the all-time scores list. As Pope really had attacking pressure this entire game. It was Pope with the attacking pressure this entire game. Pittsfield really stuck on defense nonetheless the whole majority of the game. Pope capitalizing on the numerous advantages they had nonetheless. Showed by the final score of 16-3 here. Multiple players netting three 2-goal games. It was Ella Negron netting a 1-goal game. Maylee Chaplin thought she had her first goal of the season, but it was called off. I believe it was offsides or a crease violation, nonetheless. But the Cardinals will go ahead and win this game 16-3, a blowout win, and they will take the lead of 3-1, on the all-time games between these two teams. And that'll just about do it here at Pope Prep Productions. As we said before, we'll bring you girls varsity lacrosse tomorrow versus Belchertown at 4 p.m. Please be sure to tune in. And this is Don Percy, the future voice of the Cardinals, signing off here from Pope Francis Preparatory School, saying so long and thank you, and have a nice night.